All right, we are going to try to get a bunch of questions in the next 13 minutes. Chad, you are up. Chad in California, you're up with Joe.
Yeah, appreciate it here, Scott.
Yeah.
And Joe, wow, quite a surreal moment. I'm over here envisioning myself many years ago, as Allen Iverson, Eric mentioned, practicing my crossover, playing basketball. Now here we are, the founder of Reebok. This is surreal to me. With that said, one thing I picked up, I noticed, right, it's from 1979, come over, meet Paul Fireman at the conference, the NSGA. 82 is the release of Freestyle, the women's specific shoe. And one thing that stuck out to me is how it swept across America. Can you take us back and help us understand, like, what was your feelings? What were your emotions in that time? Because I know this community has allowed me to expand conversation and relationships across the country. And I have some cool conversations with a couple of people on this call that we're looking to sweep across America with a couple of movements. We're not there yet. However, you've already done this, of course. Take us back to 82 when that happened. Like, what did that feel like, or what were your emotions then?
Well, it was an incredible time, wasn't it? I mean, you've got, the wonderful thing is that Arnold Martinez, who I mentioned before, I mean, it was great that he lived in California there, he lived in LA, and he saw this aerobics that was growing in LA. And yes, what he saw is how do we do something different? And what was different is that this was women. Before that, sport had been sort of neutral, anything, but mainly it was male. All of a sudden, and he thought, well, this is what women are doing, so why don't we make the shoe just for women? And that was a tremendously, marketing-wise, that was fabulous, because it gave women something that they hadn't had that before. This was a sport for women, and women were participating. So the marketing behind this, and whether it was, whether Arnold thought this through, or whether it was just, no, there's only women do this, so we'll make it a woman's shoe. But he made it on a woman's last. And it gave women ownership. We were a small company then, 9 million. So we were not known like Nike, like Adidas, as male, as sweaty. All of a sudden, we were possessed by women. And so there's a tremendous amount of luck of being that size of company, having Arnold who saw something. And then what happened, of course, women owned this. When Jane Fonda bought them and bought a pair of shoes onto her video, all of a sudden, the women wanted it. And, we had a big problem. We made it in glove leather because Arnold wanted this to feel like it, so comfortable. So make it in glove leather. When I heard about this, I thought, we had made a shoe in glove leather, but we made it suede out. This was being made with the skin side out. So you had to take some of the thickness off there to get the adhesive in. Glove leather is about 1 millimeter thick. By the time you take, no, it's 0.7 of a millimeter, sorry. And by the time you take the surface off, you're looking at 0.5 millimeter. Once you put a foot in that, did something in it, it was ripping apart. We cured it in the end, but had we been in any other place apart from, say, Los Angeles or in America, the company would have been dead with something like that. But the girls loved the shoes so much. They just went out and bought another pair. And that was great. And of course, once this became, some of the stars wanted it, Hollywood, all of a sudden, it just flew around the country. We went from 9 million to 30 million to 90 million to 300 million to 900 million in successive years. That was the growth. And it was all women because the women had something fantastic. So that was white space. When you're thinking of, wherever you want to go, what is different? We were lucky. I mean, I don't think anything's come along since then that is new space that somebody can come into. But it took us from, say, a small company and eventually became number one. We're overtaking Adidas and Nike. Yeah, and at that time, the one thing I think that was the problem is we forgot to sell shoes because we were so busy trying to keep up with demand. It was incredible. Keeping up with demand was a big, big problem. And at the end of it, everybody's looking around and saying, what do we do now? We had to learn how to sell again.
Absolutely amazing.